I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck this is. I have not played the Blackwood DLC for ESO, and that's what this pertains to. All I know about the Foreign Ambitions is that they are in the Deadlands, which is Marin's Dagon's realm of oblivion, and I guess they hold him back or something. I don't know.
Hold me back.
I'm going to fully admit defeat on this one. I don't know what they're about. I'm going to play that DLC soon, but I haven't yet.
Understandable. That's the Skyrim one, right? Darkwood?
No, Blackwood is the
Willow.
one. 563. Emmerich is crowned King of Wayrest.
Kids.
564. Morikar dies and is succeeded by his son Leovic. Second era, 566. We see Rancer's War erupts in Rivenspire, which is basically this top tip of High Rock right there. It erupts when King Emmerich refuses the hand of King Rancer's daughter. Basically, King Rancer's like, marry my daughter. King Emmerich says no.
Nah, she ugly.
It lasts less than a year due to surprise aid from Hammerfell and Orsinium. Hammerfell and Orsinium both helped take care of Rancer. After this, the Greater Daggerfall Covenant is formed by Emmerich. So basically, Hammerfell and the Orcs of Orsinium, they all become they all become the Greater Daggerfall Covenant, basically. That is the first of the three factions in ESO.
How much storage?
A lot.
Second era, 572. The second Akaviri invasion razes Skyrim, but is stopped by the Tribunal of Morrowind. Remember, we're back on Lexia Seal.
Yeah, my boys.
Yorin, the Skald King, is crowned High King of Skyrim, and the Ebonheart Pact is formed between Skyrim, Morrowind, and Morrowind basically forces Blackmarsh to join.
Rip. Dude, they're just being bullied.
Yeah. 4 years later, Leovic legalizes Daedric worship in the Empire. The Count of Kvatch, which is a city in Cyrodiil, Varen Aquilarios, marches against the Emperor because he's like, that's not a good fucking idea, dude.
Indeed.
Euraxia Tharn, which is Abner Tharn's daughter, Euraxia Tharn takes control of Rimmon, assassinating the Khajiit king and his family. 577 of the Second Era, Varen storms the Imperial City and defeats Leovic, becoming the new emperor. Varen then forms the Five Companions, which compose of himself, a half-giant, half-Nord woman named Lyris Titanborn, the Red Guard leader of the Dragon Guard named Sai Sahan, Abner Tharn, and a high-elf mage named Manor Marco, who is a necromancer that is later known as the King of Worms. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah.
So Varen is basically like, I want to become a Dragonborn because all of the other emperors have been Dragonborn, but I'm not, so I don't think people are going to like me. And Manor Marco's like, okay, well we'll give you the Amulet of Kings then, because that I can use that to make you the Dragonborn. And he's like, okay, sounds good. So Manor Marco basically persuades all of them to go, all right, we're going to go search for the Amulet of Kings. Manor Marco, during the ritual to make Varen a Dragonborn, betrays Varen, breaking the ancient covenant that sealed Nirn from oblivion. Willek Ball takes advantage of this and deploys dark anchors across Tamriel to begin pulling Nirn into Cold Harbor, which is his Daedric realm. This is known as the Plane Meld. It is also the plot of the Elder Scrolls Online, who made it to the first video game in the series. Give yourselves a big pat on the back. There are like 10 more of these.
Okay. I haven't even been here for the first 3 hours of it, and I already want to die. You're free. You're good.
But okay. So we sent somebody into oblivion to be dealt with later.
Umarill he will come back. He's not going to come back until the Third Era. I'll tell you that right now. He will not come back until the end of the Third Era.
Okay.
Alright, so we got. Alright.
I was like, okay, I just need to know where he went. That feels like a loose thread that they.
Clivia Tharn, which is, I think that Clivia Tharn, she is either another one of Abner's daughters, or she is Abner's sister. I can't fucking remember. But Clivia Tharn becomes Empress Regent following Varen's disappearance, because Varen was married to her. So she's basically the Empress now. And I think she's Abner's daughter. Aeryn is crowned Queen of Alinor. She is the youngest queen the High Elves ever knew. she spawns the first Aldmeri Dominion, which comprises of the Somerset Isles, Elsewhere, and Valenwood. So basically, at this point, you've got 4 factions. You've got the Empire, which is in fucking turmoil right now, because Mannimarco is basically at the head of everything. You've got the Daggerfall Covenant, which consists of the Orcs, the Redguards, and Bretons. You've got the Ebonheart Pact, which is a loose alliance of Dunmer, Argonians, and Nords. And you've got the Aldmeri Dominion, which is a strong alliance, probably the strongest out of the 3 between Valenwood, the Bosmer, the Khajiit, and the Altmer. However, it has the weakest leadership. This begins the 3 Banners War, as the Aldmeri Dominion, Ebonheart Pact, and Daggerfall Covenant all vie for control of the Empire, as the Imperials seal the Imperial City and defend against Molag Bal's day growth. The 5 companions are reformed shortly after this. Mannimarco is replaced by a nameless hero called the Vestige, which is you. It's you guys, it's your player character in
Me?
the Elder
It's
Scrolls
me?
Online.
Me?
Yes.
I'm
The Vestige,
Hi.
the Vestige
the
is the
troll.
player character in the Elder Scrolls Online. They are also like the most accomplished hero ever.
Me?
Yes. They have done so much shit.
They are the heroes of Tamriel.
The 3 Banners War, basically the Vestige and Banis Galerian, they come together, and the 5 companions as well. They come together, they go to the alliances, they're like, hey, pause real quick, we should probably deal with the fucking plane meld. We should probably deal with that right now.
Maybe.
So they, basically the Mages Guild and the Fighters Guild, along with the Vestige and the 5 companions, charge into Cold Harbor in this place called the Hollow City. The Hollow City is an ancient, I think it was an ancient Ayleid city that worshipped Meridia. You guys remember Meridia, the dated prince, the Magnity who stayed behind to fight Molag Bal?
Yeah.
She's back now.
Woo! I've been waiting
And
on her.
Yeah, and she basically has the Hollow City inside of Cold Harbor here. She's like, okay, you Vestige, go out. All of your companions are scattered across Cold Harbor. Go out and gather them. Get as many people as you can. We're going to take the fight to Molag Bal. So you take the fight to Molag Bal with all of the friends you've known along the way.
Yeah, homies. Me and the boys fighting a literal demon.
Yes, it's really cool because like if you do like all of the zone quests for your faction, basically you'll see a lot of familiar faces of just random NPCs you met pop up once again when you get to Cold Harbor, and it's kind of cool as you lead this charge consisting of all of these different people you've met.
Boy, you about to maybe play this by myself so I feel like the hero of Tamriel.
It's really good at making you feel like a badass. That's what Elder Scrolls Online does really well.
It's making me sound, it's like Mass Effect vibes.
Yeah. Basically what happens is they end the plane meld, then the 5 companions go, and it's like, okay, one of us have to be sacrificed, and it can't be Abner Tharn or the Vestige, because Abner Tharn has to perform the ritual. They find the Amulet of Kings again. Abner Tharn has to perform a ritual. Also, by this point, Mannimarco tried to train Molag Bal, and Molag Bal is torturing him now for an eternity. So don't worry about Mannimarco.
Oh, silly Mannimarco.
he really got the Starscream in.
Oh, silly Mannimarco.
So Abner Tharn and the Vestige can't be sacrificed because the Vestige doesn't have a soul. That's what they're called, the Vestige, by the way. The Vestige at the beginning of Elder Scrolls Online is murdered by Mannimarco, so his soul is given to Molag Bal. So basically, for the entire main plot of the game, you don't have a soul, but that's why you're able to do like so much cool shit because you're not affected by like soul magic or anything.
So if I was to die, my character would just be like,
If you were to die, your character could just be like, oh, I use a soul gem to revive myself, which is a mechanic in the game.
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
No wonder he's so cool.
What do you want?
Why is he not alive still?
Willow wants to know what happened to, like, are all of the frog people gone now?
No, the Sloter's
Okay.
still around. They're just not. Ever since the Thracian plague got rebooted by the All Banners Navy, they're kind of letting go.
Okay.
They're just vibing.
Where did the
So
frog
yeah,
people go? I like
basically you're given the option. The option at the end of the main quest for ESO is basically you got to sacrifice Varen, Lyris, or Saisahan. Lyris and Saisahan like kind of have this thing with each other, so nobody sacrifices them. Everybody sacrifices Varen because he fucking did this. Also, if you sacrifice Lyris or Saisahan, it doesn't fucking matter anyway because they come back. Like Saisahan comes back in Elsewhere, and I think Lyris comes back in the Greymoor DLC. So like, sacrificing them it just makes fucky wuckies with the lore anyway. So just sacrifice Baron, do your duty, kill the Emperor.
Fuck you, Baron.
Fuck Baron Aquilarius.
Literally, it's just wanted to be Dragonborn. That's all he ever wanted.
So, in between here, you've got the Cragmorn expansion for ESO, which is basically you remember how I was talking about the Guardian Signs earlier, the remnants of the Magna P? The Mage and the Warrior are both being controlled by the Serpent. And the Thief is like, hey, Vestige, we should probably deal with that. So basically, you deal with the Serpent and all the star signs go back into the sky.
Holy shit, the constellations are talking now. The stars are talking.
After this is the Orsinium DLC, which sees you invited to Rothgar as you're invited by King Corin to help with rebuilding Orsinium. And Orsinium has the best it is a tragedy. Because Orsinium starts out, you're like, fuck yeah, let's get to do the orcs are worshipping Trinimac again instead of Malakath. It's like, we're gonna fucking band together, let's do this. And by the end, all of your friends are dead, and you're like, okay, well, I guess this guy gets to be king now. and it's like, well, it has a very bittersweet ending, and King Corin is probably the best villain in Elder Scrolls Online ever. If you want to play one thing in Elder Scrolls Online, play Orsinium. It is really good.
I'm waiting for the Arcanist class to come out, man. That's all I'm waiting on.
And then he kills Winter.
Oh.
Okay.
Then Margaret killed
You
Winter.
guys remember the Triad, right?
Yeah.
Clavicus Vile, Nefala, Nocturnal. They're basically up to no good. They're starting shenanigans. Oh, I should also mention, a long time ago, Sothis Seal made like a little pocket realm. I think it's a pocket realm of Oblivion. I could be wrong though. And basically, he uses all of his knowledge from working with the dwarves, and he combines it with his arcane knowledge, and he makes this place called the Clockwork City, which is just where Sothis Seal hangs out. And he's got a bunch of people there. Yes.
I think it's important to say that Clavicus Vile has a pet dog.
It's not actually accurate to say that Clavicus Vile has a pet dog, but Barbas is important. Barbas, you guys probably remember him as the dog from Skyrim. He's part of Clavicus Vile.
He's a god dog.
A very important thing about Barbas, though, is he's supposed to keep Clavicus Vile in check so he doesn't go too wild. Very important thing about him is that Barbas is not just a dog, and people don't know this, but Barbas can take like any shape he wants. And we're getting to the plot of the Morrowind expansion for ESO, which takes place on Bardenfell.
Yeah.
So basically, Barbas disguised himself as a wizard to get close to Vivek, and he's siphoning away Vivek's power. And basically, this is bad, because remember Bardau? It starts coming down. Bardau starts coming down to Vivek's city.
Dude, holy
Yes.
shit. Shiro Gorath is fucking like doing the Dougie right now. He's going,
It's coming down to like an inch an hour, but it's
The
going
prison
down.
that used
You
to
know?
be
Yeah.
that
So
wasn't-
basically, the Vestige has to
Like
kill
they
Barbas.
stopped
The Vestige has to kill Barbas, which basically incapacitates Clavicus Vile.
no, Barbas is so cool.
Also, there's this really cool thing with a false reincarnation of Lord Nerevar that happens. I really wish it was the main plot of the Morrowind DLC, but that guy dies like halfway through, and then the rest of it is just retreading Morrowind before Morrowind happens. Then there is a plot by Mephala, I think. It's either Mephala or Nocturnal. Mephala doesn't do a lot in the Triad, so I hope it's Mephala that does this. Anyway, Mephala or Nocturnal, they are trying to take over the Clockwork City. The Vestige and Sothis Seal team up and say, fuck you. So now there's only, by the point we get to the Somerset expansion, there is only one member of the Triad which is very active, and that is Nocturnal. You remember how Nocturnal was trying to put an end to the Crystal Tower, basically taking the hard transparent law and fucking with the Sigil Order and all that?
Yeah.
Well, the Vestige, as well as a Breton warrior named Darian. Darian's a cool guy. He's in the Daggerfall Covenant quest line. Darian is lost in the final fight against Molag Bal's minions. He is lost, but he's abducted by Meridia and basically becomes this champion. And Darian sacrifices himself to get the Heart of Transparent Law back. It's very cool. That is the Somerset DLC. The Somerset DLC is pretty interesting.
That motherfucker
The
died
only,
twice.
the only thing I hate about Somerset Isles DLC is that for some reason it makes Nocturnal the antagonist, which makes no sense because Nocturnal couldn't give less of a shit about Nerd. I don't know why she's trying to take over all of a sudden, but that happens. You get cool Sigil Order powers. It's a cool DLC.
I'm just saying, right? She's hot as fuck, though.
She is.
Alright.
Right. Abner Tharn accidentally unseals the halls of the Colossus, which you'll remember from earlier was where Kunzari trapped all those dragons. So now there's a bunch of dragons in Elsewhere.
Oh shit.
Led by Calgrantid. But the vestige, thanks to Saisahan and his dragon guard, and Naphalar, remember fucking Naphalar from earlier, the dragon that fucking King Casimir had? Well, Naphalar's back, and they beat Calgrantid and all his generals. But dragons, it is important to note that dragons now are sort of widespread across Tamriel. They're still thin, but they exist. Meanwhile, in Skyrim, an alliance of vampires and werebeasts called the Grey Host take over Western Skyrim. The High King is one of them. He's a vampire.
Oh, hell
They are
yeah.
killed by the Vestige, of course. Greymore
Damn it.
sucks. Greymore is the worst fucking DLC for Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah,
I actually hate Greymore so much.
Greymoor's the Skyrim one, right?
Yeah, Greymore's the Skyrim.
Okay.
Yes.
But they're the others.
Is Skyrim your favorite Elder Scrolls lore game?
I'm gonna rank the main games at the end of this. So you'll see.
Okay. But how do you?
I'll tell you it's not my least favorite, which might be a surprise.
Really?
I know which one it is.
I'm surprised.
Okay. Next we've got the other DLCs. I haven't played High Isle or Blackwood yet, so I don't know what's happening in them. But I know that Mehrunes Dagon tried taking over Nirn in Blackwood. So cool, I guess.
He's doing it again.
Yeah. Basically retreads Oblivion plot before Oblivion happens. Also, High Isle, I've heard High Isle is pretty good, so I'm not going to shit on that. But High Isle basically takes place like around here. It's pretty cool. And that, for now, that is the end of Elder Scrolls Online as things are. There's a new DLC coming out called Necrom, which will take place in Apocrypha and the Telvanni Peninsula.
They don't know about Hermanus Mora.
Apocrypha is the dated realm of Hermaeus Mora. He's like this big Lovecraftian god of knowledge and all that shit.